Welcome to On Point by Target River, the podcast where strategy meets execution with a little fun. I'm your host, Brian, and each episode will break down what actually works in marketing, sales, and growth so you can stay sharp, focused, and always on point. Let's dive in. All right, have you ever heard about a great restaurant or maybe a great movie that was getting all sorts of reviews, and you went to go to that restaurant or go to see to that movie and no one was there? Well, that happened to me at a restaurant in San Diego. It, at the time, was rated a 5-diamond restaurant and was supposed to be one of the best in Southern California. So I made a reservation. We went to the restaurant and I showed up, and it was a little early. It was like 5:30, which, no, don't say I'm like a senior citizen when, eating there at that time. But I showed up and there was like nobody in the restaurant. So even though I'd heard from multiple people and had seen the reviews online that this was supposed to be exceptional, I doubted whether it was actually as good as it was chalked up to be, because there literally was like only one other dining party in the entire restaurant. This is a pretty good sized restaurant. So until I started to partake of my appetizer and salad and main dish, I questioned for about 10-15 minutes, was this actually going to be as good as everybody said? And I was sure hoping to, because it had a hefty price tag to it. So ultimately, long story short, the food came out, the meal was incredible. Everything that everybody said lived up to the hype. But my point being here, I was concerned about it because no one was there. Have you had that happen with a movie? So I went and recently saw the Young George Washington movie, and it was kind of an odd evening. It was like a Wednesday night or something. So an evening that not as many people go to the movies, maybe on a Friday or Saturday, for instance. And we got there and we were about 5 minutes early. And again, there weren't that many people in the theater. So what raced through my brain was, gosh, is this as good as I've heard it's going to be from people that I've seen the reviews of and a few of my friends and family that had seen the movie? Again, it lived up to the hype. It was a great movie. But what happens often when we have these things that are great, quote unquote, about our organization, our business or whatever, but they're not being seen or heard? Do we kind of question whether they're actually legitimate or not? When it comes to video, right, there's this myth of going viral, that if the content is simply good enough, people will find it, right? Partly true, but partly not, because have you ever seen a video on social media, let's say maybe on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, and you watch a few seconds of it and you're like, this is trash or garbage. But then you look and you see, and there's like 42,000 shares and 168,000 likes. And you're like, what the heck's going on? It's not necessarily the great content that gets that viralness or gets seen by everybody, right? So as we think about the social media algorithms, and they're ever evolving and changing, and I'm sure a week from now when people are watching this episode, they're going to be like, wait a second, something's already changed. And that may be true. But oftentimes when you have this content, it's so many little simple factors go into whether that thing, quote unquote, takes off. Okay. The opening few seconds of it. You could have the most incredible thing, but if it doesn't excite people in those first few seconds, they might not stick around to watch it. Could be the time of the day that you post, the day of the week that you post. Now it could be on certain platforms what your description is. I know we all used to get really hyped about hashtags. Hashtags aren't as valuable anymore on certain platforms as others, but what the description is and the details and the words that you put in are much more powerful. So one of the things that we have to think about when we're spending time, effort, energy, and in many cases, dollars, hard-earned money to produce content is, how are we going to get it seen by people? Okay. So here's a simple, and I know many of you might want to debate me on this, but could you agree that if we had $10,000 to spend on a video marketing campaign and our goal was to get that video seen by as many people and create some engagement and awareness and interest in our organization, whatever type it is that we're promoting, would it be better to spend $8,000 on producing the video and $2,000 on promoting it, or the other way around? spend a couple thousand producing the video, and $8,000 amplifying it to the right audience. If you've been a listener to many of these episodes of On Point with Target River, I hope you're going to have learned enough to go, hey, option B, spend the $2,000 on production and $8,000 on amplifying the reach of that video. Okay. Because again, you could have the most amazing thing, the most amazing video, but if nobody sees it, what power is it going to have in generating those results? So when we think about that example of the $2,000 and the $8,000, what does that actually mean? How do we utilize that? Does that mean we're giving up or forsaking the chance that it could go viral? Absolutely not. We can take that great video and we can say, okay, out of all the different ways we can have video seen by people, what ways should we put it out there? So I'm just kind of doing this off the top of my head. I'm going to say, all right, I want to use Instagram. I want to do it as a post. I want to do it as a story so I reach my existing followers. I want to do it as a reel so I can reach potential non-followers of my account. I'm going to take it across over to Facebook and I'm going to do it as a story and as a post so I can amplify it there. Wait, what else? Oh, I can put it on YouTube. Depending on the length of it, I might put it as a YouTube short with a great description and great catchy title. Where else can I put that? Oh, I can put it on X. How about LinkedIn? Yes, definitely. And I know a lot of times people will say, well, gosh, not as many people are on LinkedIn as other platforms. Absolutely true. Okay. But around 27% of Americans do have a LinkedIn account. And this might be a little dated a year from now, but that's about the right accurate thing, that check it on a fairly consistent basis. So if they're there, why wouldn't you want to be there? Okay. I know some organizations are restricted from utilizing TikTok either because of their own policies or board policies or government agency policies. But if you have the right to be able to use TikTok, why not amplify it there as well? I get that sometimes people make the stereotype assumptions. Oh, well, only certain types of individuals use this platform or that platform, maybe certain ages or genders or professional levels or political levels and stuff like that. But again, if the audience is there, why wouldn't you share it? Okay. Of course, having it on your website and having it coded properly so it can help you from a search engine optimization standpoint, of course, is powerful. When you do all of those things, maybe there is a chance that it starts to go viral and thousands and then tens of thousands of individuals are going to see that video. But how about giving it some juice, right? Nowadays, we have the incredible power of what we call Target TV at Target River. That's the ability to say, all right, who do we actually want to see this video? If we had 1,000 people in front of us, do all 1,000 people need to see this video? Most often the answer is no. There are certain types of people or individuals that we'd really love to see that video. We can let the organic side do its part and reach the masses and reach all types of folks. But when it comes to the Target TV of paid advertising side, we don't want to waste money. So we can look and say, all right, first, who geographically, where do we want to serve this ad to? Do we want to serve it to a county, a state, a region, a country, or the globe? Okay, you might go, whoa, the globe? We're not saying serve it to all of the billions of people in the world right now, but that could be the potential. Or maybe it is the state or the city that you live in. Well, within that, is everybody a valid person to see that video? Okay, do you want it to be seen by a 13-year-old and a 93-year-old and everybody age-wise in between? Again, oftentimes the answer is no. So think about, after the geography, the demographics. What age ranges do we want to show this video to? What gender does that matter, if at all? And what occupations or job titles, if at all, matter in who sees this video? Then the next part is, of course, the psychographics, the intent, the interest, the desire. So the other day I was in the airport, as I often am, and I was in security. Actually had a great interaction with TSA agents that day. So for you loyal viewers, you'll remember my TSA stories. The guy in front of me had this band around his bicep. And it was a Hume band, which is supposed to measure all sorts of things about your body, your blood pressure, your sleeping patterns, exercise, all sorts of things. So it's an alternative to maybe people that are using something on their phone or one of those rings that tracks all that data. And I've been reading up on this and I was kind of like, well, I wonder if this works. So I asked the gentleman in front of me how long he's had it and if he likes it. And he's had it for like 4 or 5 years. And he said the data is incredible. He loves it. It's helped him a ton. And so I'm like, wow, okay, great. I need to think about this more. So what happened? Because I was talking about this product and this topic, guess what I've seen in the past 48 hours? I have seen video content about that product as well as competitors to that product, because the different sites or the different platforms that I have on my phone were listening to my conversation, heard that I'm talking about these products, and so they allowed those advertisers to then reach me. That's the power that's available. So what did I see? I saw a great video that detailed all of the data points that this bracelet or whatever they call it can track for me. So now my likelihood of purchasing this product has significantly gone up. Okay. So back to that budget, right? If we focus on being able to reach people like I just described, like, wouldn't that be awesome if all the different people that could potentially purchase from you, donate to you, enroll their child in your school or whatever it is, saw a video tailored just for them and they had that experience like I did? We're like, oh my gosh, I was just talking about this with the guy yesterday in TSA, in the TSA line, and here it is. Now, I have that experience a lot, and as a marketer, I know that principle and concept, so I know it happens all the time, but it is still pretty cool. And as a marketer, I love it. I know many of you are going, that's creepy, that's Big Brother. True, but let me ask you this. Would you rather have a personalized ad that comes to you that really you could use or benefit from versus just some random ad that you're like, why am I getting this? I have no interest in a product like this. That's the difference between good advertising and bad advertising. So back to that video and back to that experience, right? And back to the empty theater or empty restaurant. That empty theater or empty restaurant is that amazing video that nobody sees. Okay. So we got to make sure when we produce it, we not only build the right content, but first and foremost, we have a plan on how we're going to get it seen by the people we want to see it through all the different social platforms. And then of course, through target TV, that's going to get them, whether they're watching it on their smartphone, their tablet, their phablet, their laptop, their desktop, or even all the way up to a big screen television. Okay. But in a targeted fashion. So don't waste your efforts, don't waste your dollars, be smarter about it, and you'll get much more effective results. Thanks for listening to On Point by Target River. If you're ready to grow your organization with real strategy that generates meaningful results, visit targetriver.com and connect with our team today. Stay focused, stay winning, and stay on point. We'll see you next time.